to start over. Y'all, scatterbrain is so annoying because I don't know where I be leaving off. Hello, beautiful souls, and welcome back to my channel. It's your girl, Lene. If you guys are new here, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button and that notification bell to the right, so that way you're notified every time I drop a new video. If you are a loyal supporter, you already know before I get into this video, I gotta do a quick little feeling check. But if you are new here, I do feeling checks because I feel like we all be moving and grooving through life. Life be lifing for most of us, and we don't take the time to ask one another how you are doing or how do you feel. So let me be that one to ask you today, how are you feeling? Please let me know down in the comments. For me, I know today I'm feeling jubilant. I'm feeling really happy, really joyous. I just love to create. Anytime I'm creating, it just brings out my inner child. It just makes me really smile. I don't know, I just get really happy. I didn't realize that I didn't express myself a lot as a kid. So now that I'm getting to do that as an adult, it just brings out my inner child. And I love that for me. If you are seeing this video right now, it's because you were meant to see this. This is a topic that I think is difficult for most of us, and I wanted to talk about it on the channel today, and it's the art of letting go. For most, letting go can be hard or uncomfortable because it often involves releasing something familiar, even if it no longer serves us. Whether it's an idea, a relationship, or a goal, we often get emotionally attached because we've invested so much time and energy to it. Many of us hold on due to the hope that things may get better or the belief that we're responsible for making something work, i.e. toxic friends and toxic relationships. Okay, some of y'all been with that man way too long. Okay, it was time for you to let him go a long time ago, but you stay. Why? Let me know down in the comments if this is you. Let me know down in the comments if you stayed in toxic friendships longer than you needed to. A lot of us stay in toxic friendships and relationships because a lot of us have a fear of being alone. Being alone is scary. It makes us feel like we are unworthy of love or we don't deserve to have happiness and find somebody to share a life with. We hold on to the idea of a person. We almost become codependent on people to be happy. You feel like this person makes or breaks you. I know in my relationship with my boyfriend, I was codependent at a point. And I could not go anywhere without this man. I felt like he had to be on my shoulder at all times in order for me to be happy. And it wasn't until my mom got sick and I moved back to Miami for a couple months that I realized that a lot of my happiness relied on him. And I had to let go of that codependency because in order for me to grow, in order for me to elevate in this life, I cannot be codependent on a person. I cannot rely on a person to make me feel whole. I have to make myself feel whole. And me and my boyfriend were good. So it wasn't the fact that I had to let him go, but I had to let go of that codependency nature. Some of us have a fear of being alone or starting over. Sometimes starting over can feel like you're going backwards. Like you got in this relationship, you guys been dating for 4 or 5 years, and you guys break up. And instead of moving on, you give him another chance or her another chance. And you guys break up again and you give them another chance. You guys break up again and the cycle continues. And sometimes instead of letting go, we keep going back because of the fear of being alone, the fear of having to start over, the fear that starting over may mean that you'll never find what you're looking for or it may be impossible. And sometimes because of that fear, it causes us to stay in things longer than what we need to. Come on now. Y'all know I'm preaching to the choir. Y'all already know. You done stayed with that man or that woman too long, and it's because your fear of not wanting to move on. You have an emotional attachment to this person. You feel like you can't be happy without this person. So a lot of times you hold on, praying and hoping that things will get better, even though they don't. even though they don't. Sometimes these people may manipulate you to make you feel like if you move on, you can't find something better, that they are all you have. They'll gaslight you, try to find all different types of control tactics to control your mind, keep you from letting go. So let me know down in the comments if this is you. Quick little story time. This is dated back in 2017 when I first moved to Atlanta. I got a job at a homeless shelter, and this was my first real job in my field. I wanted to do so well in this job because I wanted to further advance my career, or so I thought. At this job, I was a person that you could rely on. I was just that hard worker, go-getter type individual. I have a competitive nature about me, so anytime, and it's not purposeful, so anytime I'm doing something, I just like to compete with myself. Like, how can I be better than I was the day before? So I used to apply pressure at this job. I wanted to be the person that got employee of the month. They didn't do this at my job, but I wanted that to be me. I would even come in on my days off. On my days off, I would go into work. I know it sounds crazy, but I really loved what I did at that time. And I was working with at-risk youth. I really loved working there because I love connecting with the youth, and it was a fulfilling job. It was definitely perspective driven because I didn't have a lot of empathy before going into that job. And when I walked out, I became such an empathetic person. I learned perspectives. I used to have a very one-sided way of looking at things. And after working at that job, it really changed my perspective of the world, of people. With intentions on growing in this job, I can tell you guys, this was probably the most toxic job for me. And it wasn't the youth, it wasn't the stories, because I'm not gonna lie, sometimes I would go home and I would cry because some of those stories that you would hear would be so terrible, so sad, so gut-wrenching, so horrific. I just could not understand that people had to live those type of lives, especially being how young they were. It was so sad. But that wasn't the issue. That was actually the problem for me. The issue lied in the staff. The staff, ooh, and I know some of us got those jobs right now where the staff are primarily the issue. The staff. Most of the people that work there have been working there for a long time, so they got used to just doing things their way. And when I got there, I was a young, fresh face, and I wanted to make things better. I feel like a lot of the people that worked there were just coming there for a check, and I wanted to do better, especially for these youth. And guys, I got backlash. I got so much backlash. I did not grow in that space. That place made me very negative. People talked about me. People thought I did way too much. I would go into performance reviews with my boss and I would get low ratings. I could not understand for the life of me what I was doing wrong. I was just faced with people who just didn't want to work and didn't want to do better or see better. They just wanted to come there, get their check, and do the bare minimum. Guys, I can tell you, I became one of those people. I became one of those people that I despised when I first started working there. I was one of those people that at first when I got there, I would do any and everything. By year 2, I did any and everything of nothing. I just came there and collected my check. I was a terrible person to be around. This job was very time consuming, so my work to life balance was very off. I worked the second shift, so I would go into work at 3 and get off at midnight. So by the time I would get off of work, I would go home and sleep all day. I just wasn't myself. I feel like I was surviving and not living. That 2 years of working at that job, I can't even tell you what went on in my life because it feels like a blur. And I even had a friend, she checked me real good. She got me good. She told me that I was not a pleasant person to be around. I was just, anytime she called me, I always declined hanging out with her. And it really hurt me that she told me these things because I didn't realize I was becoming that person. And I didn't realize that working at this job was changing who I was. So I had to let it go. But I'm not gonna lie, y'all, it was hard. It was so hard coming up with the decision to let that job go because one, that was my stability. I needed those checks. How was I gonna make my money if I didn't have this job? I did not want to let it go. I fought over this idea of quitting for months. I would go back and forth in my head. At this time, I had a roommate. I didn't want to be that friend that couldn't pay her half of the rent. I didn't want to be that friend that you couldn't depend on. I didn't want to be that friend that would even put my roommate in a predicament like that. So it was hard. I'm not going to lie. It was hard. My faith and my belief in myself that I could do it was very low. And I just didn't think that I could survive on my own. And one day I just ripped the bandage off and I left. I let go. And I'm not going to say everything was just peaches and cream, but it has been the most rewarding feeling. I'm not going to lie. It didn't hurt me. It didn't stop me. It didn't stop any progression that I had going on over here. And I didn't realize that I could do it. And a lot of times there is something better waiting for us, but you have to be able to create the space in order to receive that blessing. If you keep holding on to the idea or the thought that you don't deserve anything better, then you won't get anything better, because our ideas, our mind, our thoughts shape the way our lives go. That is the law of attraction, baby, at its finest. So what you think, if you truly believe that you will not receive anything better, then you won't. If you truly believe that you cannot get a better job, then you won't. And what's so divine about this topic that I'm discussing today is I drop YouTube content every Tuesday. I will drop my podcast content, and every Friday I will drop my vlog content. And today is Tuesday, and I am not dropping this content today. I was so attached to needing to make a deadline. I was going to film yesterday, even though I didn't have my words together. I didn't know exactly how I was going to express myself today. I was going to still force it and still try and record. And as I'm writing down my material, going over what it is I'm going to talk about, I started getting the lesson, because I get so attached to things. I get attached to routines. I get attached to doing things the same way every time. And anytime something disrupts that, I get anxiety. I get uncomfortable. It makes me feel weird. It makes me feel like I'm not going to accomplish what I need to accomplish. It makes me feel like I'm going to lack. As I'm writing this, it's almost as if I'm writing advice to my future self. Detach, girl. Let go. Let go of the idea that you have to do these things this way in order to reach success. Let go of the idea that if you don't do this, you're going to fail. I let go. And although today, I'm not going to lie, my brain was scattering, honestly, the worst it's ever scattered since I've been recording these videos. But I'm glad that I didn't force it. I just went with the flow, and I was in flow, and I chose to detach from it and just record today, because I would have not been prepared. I would not have been able to do this yesterday. So I found that so cool and so divine that this topic today aligned within my own life. I hope that you guys have found this topic to be helpful and beneficial in your life, because letting go can be hard. When I first moved to Texas, I had so much anxiety. I've only been here for 3 months, and it was a hard adjustment. Leaving my boyfriend in Atlanta, now we're doing long distance relationship, making new friends out here in Texas, chartering a new space, just being around new energies. I did not want to do this. I did not want to do this, but I'm so happy I did, because I can say in the 3 months that I've been here, I have grown so much, and I am in a way better space than where I was in Atlanta, because I'm forced to do different things. I'm forced to step out of my comfort zone. I created space for new blessings, for new opportunities to happen for me. And I'm excited to see where I'll be in 5 to 6 to 10 months, because I'm choosing to not be attached to anything that doesn't serve me and to let go. So hopefully you found this video helpful. If you did, give it a thumbs up. Thank you guys so much for tuning back in this week, and I will see you guys in my next video.